at 741 Colleton Street in the city limits of Orangeburg, South Carolina. During our response to that call, a former officer used force on an individual. That use of force was deemed to be outside the scope of our use of force policy. We did an examination of that use of force immediately and started working in that direction. That, like I said, the occurrence was July 26 at 5:05. The very next morning, after reviewing the videos that we had, I made a call to the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division and asked for investigative assistance from them. And that was in the morning of the 27th of July. The Use of Force Committee is an internal committee here that reviews all use of force incidents. They met on the morning of the 28th. After they met on the 28th, the officer in question was terminated by the agency. I will tell you that this case is still under investigation. The State Law Enforcement Division is working on it. We're hoping that this can be brought to a speedy conclusion and the incident is resolved. I'll try to answer a few questions if I may. Yes, ma'am.
What specifically did this officer allegedly do?
I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't hear you with the mask on.
What specifically did the officer do that allegedly violated the use of force?
That's a good question, Martha, but let me tell you this. The investigation is ongoing. I think it would be inappropriate for me to comment on the specific details while we have an outside investigative agency that's still conducting an active investigation. So as the investigation winds down, we'll try to make that information available to you. There may be some information that the State Law Enforcement Division may release Tom Berry in SLED, so you can reach out to them to see if they have anything. So I just want to be cautious here, make sure that we don't jeopardize any investigation.
My name is Sidney, City Administrator for Orangeburg. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. We asked you to come here because we wanted to share with you some information about an incident that occurred on Monday of this week. We had an officer-involved incident where an officer was responding to a call. That officer engaged with an individual and subsequently used force that we deemed was outside the scope of our use of force policy. That officer has subsequently been terminated. He was terminated on Wednesday of this week. And we wanted to make you aware of this. I want to take a moment to speak to our community and just let our community know that we really place above all value. We value the trust that the community has placed in us as leaders and us as law enforcement officers. We cannot tolerate anything that will diminish that trust that our citizens have placed in us.
We want the residents living in the city of Orangeburg to have confidence in our public safety department. The actions of this officer does not represent the organizational value of Orangeburg Department of Public Safety or the men and women who serve. The city continues to work with the South Carolina Department Law Division, and we expect the investigation to be concluded next week.